Hey everyone, I'm Princess Link, and welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 2. Chapter 28. The voices drifted into his ears as if from a dream. Two men, a conversation, floating in and out, simultaneously loud and soft. Is he still alive? He was when Olga brought him in. Raiden recognized the voices, but his head hurt so much that he couldn't quite put it all together. He opened his eyes and saw bright, blurry lights, a ceiling. His arms moved reflexively, but Raiden found he couldn't budge. His wrists were secured to something. A table. His legs, too. He was strapped to a table. And he was completely naked. Like, why? I mean, Dave getting captured and having his shirt stolen was weird enough. Like, already. And then it's like, Raiden gets all his clothes stolen. He wanted to groan aloud, but perhaps it was better to feign unconsciousness and listen to the two men. I've checked everything, including the genome data, but there's nothing on this guy. NSA, CIA, FBI, he doesn't exist in any database. He's a non-existent operative from a non-existent organization. Raiden knew that voice. Ocelot. Revolver Ocelot. Revolver Ocelot. I suspected as much. However, I know this man, and that voice, Raiden knew it as well. Solidus. Solidus Snake. 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 Solidus Snake. Fun fact. Completely irrelevant, but my new nickname for Snape, Severus Snape, is Professor Bitch. Because I hate him. He is an incel. Strange. There's something about man's vocal inflections that prickled the very core of Raiden's soul. Something from long ago. What was it? Wake him up, Solidus commanded. A motor hummed and the table slowly tilted to an upright position. The room came into view. It was partitioned by glass and was equipped with the latest medical equipment. Past the glass, steel bars, a prison, and another chamber. Cables ran from the foot of the table, sprawling across the floor like arteries. The two men stood before him. Solidus was dressed in a black power suit that resembled armor, and he wore an eye patch over his left eye. The most dramatic thing about his gear was that two mechanical tentacles snaked out from the suit below his arms. Somebody on the internet described it as nipple tentacles, and so now that's stuck. That description's just stuck in my head for like ever. The tentacles were long and functional with claw pinchers on the ends. Raiden couldn't help but think that Solidus resembled Snake, the traitor he had known as Pliskin. I mean, they're brothers. They're... Whatever. It's been a while, hasn't it? Jack the Ripper, Solidus taunted. You know this fellow? Ocelot asked. Solidus glared quickly at Ocelot to shut him up, then turned his attention back to Raiden. You remember me, don't you? Raiden didn't reply. What is this guy talking about? You've grown! One of the tentacles stretched out and wrapped itself around Raiden's neck. Oh yeah, at this point, I was just trying to get a picture of the weird freaking way Solidus was standing. But then suddenly it's like, press this button. Press button. And I'm like, what is happening? The claw squeezed and Raiden gasped for air. The end of the tentacle then extended to lightly scan Raiden's mind. What? A high concentration of... There's like weird stuff on my ankle just peeling off. Like, what? What is this crap? Anyway. A high concentration of cerebral implants. Tisk, because they altered your memory too. A tentacle on his head. The tentacle on his head emitted a sharp bolt of electricity, causing Raiden to scream in pain. Solidus chuckled and withdrew both robo-feelers. This is my son, Solidus announced. Actually, that's not true. Snake and Otacon are Raiden's dads. You can't convince me otherwise. I taught him everything. Jack, I never thought I'd see you again. Raiden managed to find his voice. It came out as a whisper. You know me? You don't remember? Raiden blinked. What the hell is he talking about? Your name, your skills, everything you know, you learned from me. Something within Raiden stirred. Some distant, long-lost synapse of memory. An image. A young boy with white hair. A soldier. A boy soldier. The 80s. Saldus pouted. Yeah, you cannot convince me that Raiden is, Raiden is apparently supposed to be, like, in his late 20s, but no, you can't convince me. He's, like, in my mind, he's, like, 20. He's a baby! Okay? Anyway, Saldus pouted. The Liberian Civil War. You were one of the best among the child soldiers that fought in that conflict. When you were barely 10 years old, you became the platoon leader of the Small Boy Unit. That is the dumbest name I've ever heard. At the time, your outstanding kill record earned you several nicknames, including White Devil and Jack the Ripper. Again, Raiden flashed upon a vague picture of himself at that age, hiding, fighting, carrying a gun, running in battle. Grab your shotgun, pull a trigger, something's hiding, where the hell are we? I'm sorry. Fun fact, almost every time I try to listen to Xenoblade X music, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance music comes up. Not really sure what's up with that. And also, Astral Chain comes up a lot, which, like, I've literally never even, like, I've at least listened to, Rules of Nature. I couldn't remember what it's called, but, like, I've never listened to anything from Astral Chain. Anyway. Were these real memories or were they imagined? Anyway, yeah. Xenoblade X music. The Xenoblade X OST is freaking banging, man. And it's really weird. But it is. Anyway, Jack, I was your godfather. I named you. When the war ended, you disappeared from the relief center. I wondered what happened to you. I should have known they'd recruit you. Saldus gestured to Ocelot. They moved away, their backs to Raiden, but the operative could still hear their whispers because they're frickin' idiots. They can't whisper. It's an interesting coincidence, Ocelot said, obviously doubting his own words. If he's so lucky for the Patriots, I doubt he knows anything of interest. What should we do with him? We'll use him like you suggested. What about Dead Cell? Ignore them. Ocelot suddenly jerked his prosthetic arm toward his torso. He grunted and held the forearm tightly. Happening again? Saldus asked. Ocelot winced in pain. Could it be that he's here too? The gunslinger took a few deep breaths and seemed to regain control of his prosthesis after a brief moment. He took a few steps away from his boss. In another hour, Saldus remarked, we demonstrate the power of Arsenal gear. Attack with standard weapons, of course? Yes. We proceed as planned. At last report, all is well with GW. Saldus nodded with satisfaction. How about the troops? The men are being refitted with Arsenal gear equipment as ordered. Ocelot gestured at Saldus's eye patch. He had a splitting image of Big Boss. Saldus laughed loudly. Is that so? Perhaps I should be grateful to this kid for that. I mean, they both use child soldiers like little bitches. Somebody on Tumblr was like, actually, Saldus was right. And I'm like, I don't care what Saldus wanted to do. That all just went right out the window as soon as he decided it was a good idea to use child soldiers. Like, dude, he's a little bitch. The terrorist leader grinned at Raiden and then left through the door to the south. Raiden was alone with Ocelot, who took a few steps toward the prisoner. The situation. I find it very nostalgic. Raiden recalled the Shadow Moses incident. Snake had been captured and strapped to a table, just like the one he was on now. But he still had his pants on. Then. And Revolver Ocelot had tortured him. Where am I? Raiden asked. Why, inside Arsenal here, of course. Raiden looked past Ocelot and through a glass window. The sea. Why did shifting faster than normal? They were moving. Actually, we're also inside the memory of Shadow Moses. Ocelot pulled the disc out of his pocket and held it up for Raiden to see. It was the President's virus disc, the one that he and Snake had attempted to upload into GW. I'll take this back. You don't need it anymore, do you? The gunslinger stuck the disc in his back pocket. Raiden heard someone enter the room. His gaze shifted to the side, and he saw Olga Gurlukovich, no longer wearing the cyborg ninja suit. She was dressed in her regular battle gear. A foul wind is blowing, Ocelot said. His contempt for the Russian woman was palpable. We shall speak again. Without acknowledging her, he turned and left the room. Raiden glared at Olga. Don't move, she whispered. Stay as you are. She wasn't looking at him. We're being monitored by a camera. What are you up to? Raiden asked softly. Quiet. I'm switching over to nano-communication. Raiden heard the connection in his inner ears and then asked, Mr. X? Ninja? Correct. It's me. I thought you were the leader of the Russian troops. No, that was just a smokescreen. A smokescreen? I was sent to provide you support. Support? Who sent you? The colonel? No, she sighed. The Patriots. What? I deceived my troops. Betrayed them. But why? My child is being held hostage by the Patriots. Olga took a few steps and gazed out the window at the sea world drifting by. It all started 2 years ago when I lost my father during the tanker incident. My men and I had nowhere to go, so we joined forces with an illegal Russian organization. The Russian Mafia? Something like that. Anyway, I learned much later that it was a subordinate organization of the Patriots. I was expecting at the time. When I gave birth to my child, it turned out I was in a hospital run by the Patriots. In the morning, my child was gone. My baby's being kept somewhere in this country. Have you ever met your child? No. Once a month they send me a photo of my child via network. I've never even held the child in my own arms. I see. Actually, he didn't at all, but he said, given your situation, nobody can blame you for what he did. What you did. That's your opinion. What about Snake? I thought you two were enemies. He wasn't responsible for my father's death. Actually, I owe him our lives. 2 years ago, they were responsible for getting us out from the sinking tanker alive. So you were partners since the incident? No, I only found out the truth shortly before this. Huh? When I confronted him here. You fought with Snake? When? Well, it was around the time you were holding hands with that girl. At first, Raiden wasn't sure whom she meant. Then he remembered Emma. Emma. It was when he was bringing Emma to Shell 1. He couldn't help asking sarcastically, so you joined hands with Snake to pay back a debt? No, mutual gain. Mutual gain? My job was to assist you. If Solidus gets away with Arsenal, your mission's a failure. The Patriots would judge that as a failure on my part as well and terminate my child. Putting it simply, my child's life depends on your success. So you did it all for your child. But why would the Patriots want to help me? Are they hoping I'll take Solidus out? No, you're just like me. We're just pawns. Pawns for what? Purpose. The S3 plan. The what? You'll figure it out sooner or later. But I wonder if you'll handle the truth. What do you mean? Listen, we haven't got time for this. Solidus will commence his attack at any minute. He's got to be stopped. What about the virus? No results so far. I think the Patriots have tampered with the program. Will it work? I don't know. Get me out of this thing. Not yet. I'll release your restraints after I leave this room. Where's my gear? Snake's got everything. I couldn't bring it here. And where do I find Snake? The passageway ahead leads to a hangar. He'll be waiting there. I gave him a card key for the hangar. Does Snake plan to destroy Arsenal gear? No. Even for Snake, it's impossible to completely destroy this thing. The only option is to stop Solidus and his men. What are you going to do? Stay concealed. That's my role. I can't afford to be discovered. Olga, you can't keep this up. They're bound to find you. Listen, I'll see you in a little while. Now brace yourself. With that, she disconnected nano-communications, walked over to Raiden, and slugged him hard in the abdomen. Ugh! For show, Olga spit on the floor in front of Raiden's feet. Then she turned abruptly and left the room. If you like that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!